Good morning, good evening. Megan Mitchell here. It is Wednesday, January 28th. I have been off for a little bit. We had a big snowstorm, and then I caught some sort of a bug or just became a little bit ill. But today, I wanted to talk to you about the power of working in silence. I came across a quote, which I'll share with you in a little bit, that sparked my interest in this topic. Basically talking about why you should work in silence and keep your goals to yourself until you've seen them to fruition. We're only about a month into the new year. Many people make New Year's resolutions, goals, and announce them in some big grand gesture on social media, and then in no time they are thrown by the wayside and no longer achieving those goals or actively seeking those goals. Why is that? I've always been kind of a person that likes to keep to myself and likes to keep my announcements to myself until I'm ready to share. And many people are like, well, why don't you want to share that with other people? I personally don't want anyone else's energy interfering with the process of what I'm doing. But I think this is really relevant in our journey in Victory with Ash, especially considering that many people feel like they haven't heard from Ash. It's giving them some anxiety. But let me talk for a minute about why being quiet is very effective, both personally and both externally, when it comes to goals or building something important in life. First of all, on a personal level, sharing goals often prematurely reduces motivation because it gives you a false sense of accomplishment. There's a phenomenon known as social reality, where research has shown that when you prematurely share something that you're trying to accomplish, you get a dopamine spike that gives you a false sense of accomplishment and actually reduces your drive to go ahead and achieve that goal. And I think this is really interesting because I feel like this is probably pretty accurate. You see people announcing things all the time, and I always think, why do they want to tell everyone? And I never thought about the fact that it gives you an actual dopamine spike and tricks your brain into thinking you've already accomplished it. So some key points in this personal part. Number one, premature sense of accomplishment. When you share a goal, others often congratulate you, and that gives you premature motivation. It tricks your brain into feeling like you've already achieved it and reduces the need for action. Number two, reduce commitment. A study by psychologist Peter Gallwitzer showed that people who kept their goals private worked harder and longer than those who announced them, as the latter felt less pressure to actually follow through. The third one I think is really, really key in what we're going through or what we're experiencing in Victory with Ash. Unwanted advice and negativity. Sharing goals can invite unsolicited, discouraging advice or negativity from people who may not understand your ambition or who may be insecure about their own, which can hurt your motivation. Wow, this pretty much sums up what has happened in this whole journey with Ash. There's so much criticism, so much noise, and if you're not anchored in what you're doing, that can definitely affect your ability to move forward. Added pressure and anxiety. Telling others about your goals can create a pressure-filled environment where you feel obligated to give progress updates, increasing stress. How relevant is this? Ash has been so available for us, and that has created this pressure to constantly give updates. what has happened in the past, when Ash was visible all the time and always giving us updates, that invited those who had nefarious intentions and, probably derailed some of the process along the way. Changing your mind. If you decide to change your goal after sharing it, you may face judgment, or in the case of long-term projects, others may become less supportive as you get closer to achieving success. So I think we need to think about the fact that what seems like silence to some is probably very strategic on Ash's part. This is my opinion, of course. These are the observations that I've made. And when I hear something that I think is relevant, I want to share it with you. And I think this is very relevant. So what seems like silence to many is perhaps very strategic on Ash's part. He told us some time ago that he was no longer going to announce things before they happened. He was going to, basically come out once it's finished and once things are ready. And, I think this is something we need to remember. And I think that, in your own life, you need to think about the things that you share with others. We have to protect this journey, which is why I think Ash has selected a smaller group of people to share things with, and then for them to pass it down. It protects his personal energy. I'll leave you with a quote by, I believe it's David Guillaume. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. He said, "Quiet people are the more successful ones. People who prosper in silence prosper quicker. Never talk about what you are working on, because you draw other people's jealousy, which begins to energetically sabotage. It awakens a lack within them." So, even some of those that we love, even the people closest to us, sometimes when we share goals or when we share something big that we're working on or that we're involved with, it can awaken a sense of insecurity in them. And maybe unknowingly or unintentionally, they are going to spread negative energy to you. So this is something to ponder as we wait for updates from Ash. Just to remember that Ash is going about things maybe in a different way than he did in the past to protect his energy. He wants to stay focused and make sure that nothing gets in the way. Have a blessed Wednesday.